I'm Tim Robertson. With me today is Zach Jackson, defensive end for the SAGU Lions. Zach, welcome.
Hey.
How you doing
Pleasure
today?
to be here.
Now, you're from Ray, Colorado.
Yeah.
What brought you down here to old Waxahachie, Texas?
Well, it's interesting. My dad's a pastor, so I'm a PK. I've always grown up around the Assemblies of God, and we'd always go to camp and everything. And I was looking at a school where I could play sports. I was a wrestler in high school, so we were looking at wrestling and, you know, playing football in college maybe. And it came to a point where it was like time to make a decision. And SAGU called me up out of the blue, and I wasn't sure, you know, I didn't have a lot of interest, but I knew my grandma was a real big prayer, and she was always praying that I'd end up at an AG school. And so they got me down here on a visit, and I just felt like I was at home on the campus. It was real great. And so I decided, you know, this is what I'm going to do, and the scholarship was right and everything, and now I'm here.
Now, the defense this year got off to a little bit of a slow start. The last two games held your opponents to a combined 18 points. You looked really good. How do you feel like defense is going to be going forward for the rest of the year?
Well, I think a lot of good things are happening on the defense. Like you mentioned, the past two games, we've been really good at stopping them. The last game, we had a score early, and then we held them to a field goal later when they had incredible field position. So our defense as a whole, we're really coming along. Besides
being a student athlete, you were also involved this past semester in the campus sketch comedy program known as Southwestern Live. One of those skits you were in, something went a little bit wrong, a little bit different than how it was planned. Tell us what happened in that skit.
Yeah, it's actually an interesting story. So the idea for the skit, which I've had for a long time, was that I wanted Pastor Dave, one of the dorm pastors here on campus, to just beat up a student, like for the stupidest little thing. We were looking at, you know, what would look best for the audience, because not everyone out there loves pro wrestling, obviously. And so what happened was, I'm up there, and I'm like, okay, I want this to look really good. We had practiced it a few times and gone through it, and I was like, it's going to look really good for these people. So I made sure I just had full contact with my head right on the stage we had built, and then I'm like, I think I might be bleeding. That's my next thought. And as I'm getting thrown over the bed in the rest of the skit, I'm like, well, I better check. I reach up there, and my hands are just like coated in red. And it was something else, but I knew I had to finish the skit. And I also knew that they were filming this, and all the prospective students were out there. We go back there, and we're like wiping it off with tissues. We got, you know, paper towels, trying to clean it up. And Mrs. Gutierrez comes back there. She's the head of the theater department, and she's like, what's going on? What's wrong? I could tell something was wrong. It didn't go right. And she's like, oh, you're bleeding? And I'm like, I'm fine. I can keep going. And she's like, but we can't send you out on stage like that. And I was like, I know. So she takes gaff tape, and she just gaff taping my head like this. And it just like, you know, totally cartoony. Like I'm just got this big old gaff tape around my head, and you know, you can't go out on stage like that either. So the rest of the performance, I had to wear this backwards hat that looks really corny. And if you look at like some of the other shots, you can see the tape like down on my forehead.
And you were back out there a couple skits later, yeah, like a champ, in a dress, but like a champ.
Well, you know, anything for comedy, I guess.
Yeah. What is your favorite part of being a SAGU student?
I really enjoy just how challenged I am to be a SAGU student. Like every area of my life, I feel like I'm challenged to be better, which for someone with my personality of always trying to better themselves, it's a great thing because it's an area where spiritually you're challenged daily in chapel. You know, physically I'm challenged out here on the football field. You know, I'm always challenged to get better, and you know, the different things I'm involved with whether it be theater or whether it's my classes, they're always challenging you. But it also creates an area where you're trying to better yourself, and you're always trying to get to that next level, whether it be your relationship with God, or whether it be athletically, or whether it be, you know, acting, or whether it be in your class. You're always trying to better yourself, whatever it is, and I think that's a great place to go to school.
That's great. Well, Zach, thank you so much for being with us here today. We'll be back with second half action right after this.
We are at halftime here at the Lumpkin Stadium in Waxahachie, Texas. Your score 21-7, and the stats do bear out that the lead should belongs to Langston, but SAGU hanging right in there, Mark.
Well, early in the third quarter is going to be where we see what they do with that momentum. That first possession on offense, the first one on defense will get an indication In fact, as they usually say, or the old adage is, the first team to score coming out of halftime picks up a big gust of wind in their sails. What do the stats tell us?
Well, you can take a look at the first half stats on your screen. We can see that, well, let's go over the scores first. Mark Wright Jr., there it is, 21% your score. Total yards, 271 to 146. Rushing yards, also an advance for Langston. Passing yards, an advance for Langston. Penalties, about the same. Time of possession, actually pretty close. For a while there, Langston was dominating the time of possession, but the back half of the second quarter, SAGU began to catch up. But there's your key stat there, 14 points off turnovers. First 2 possessions, I believe it was, were turnovers, resulted in 14 points for Langston. Mark Wright, the quarterback, had a touchdown, ran one in, threw for one to Cedric Jackson. And then Jace Boyd, another running back, barreled in to give a 21-0 lead to Langston until SAGU got on the board with a Troy Griffin run. 3-yard carry with 35 seconds left in the second quarter to pull to within 14. What you look at the name Jackson for Langston, and Kevin Jackson led all rushers with 54. And Cedric Jackson led all receivers with 48 yards and a touchdown. So we are set for play here in the second half. Langston will kick it off to SAGU. Low kick taken by the up man near the 20, down to the 25, down to the 30. That's Carvin Colton on the carry.
He's one of the running backs. He hasn't gotten any carries so far, but he's from the western side of Dallas, went to Molina High School. In the first half, Golson was 5 out of 10, had 1 interception. Leading rusher was Troy Griffin with 30 yards. Golson had 20.
Golson only completed 5 passes, Mark. 10 attempts for just 76 yards. And
his his counterpart, Wright, was 13 out of 18, and they were almost all to different receivers.
Here's a rush up the middle. I was going to say that there were actually 4 receivers. Brewster had 2 catches, 1 to Godwin, 1 to Moore, 1 to McKinley. So at least of the 5 passes he completed, he did spread the wealth a little bit.
That was James Hopkins on the carry. He has been battling an injury bug of late. Last week he picked up some good yards on 20 carries. He got most all the action after some early fumbles, took some of the other backs out of action.
One name we've not called on offense all day is Jeremy McDonald. Really surprised there, #1 receiver that wears #1. 0 receptions in the first half. Golson unable to find him open. Look for him to be more active in the second half.
McDonald has had an injury that is just going to be with him all season long. And he picked up another injury a week ago, and he's just battling to stay out on the field, but the doctors did clear him. Well, we've got a 3rd down and about 3 yards. Twins at the top, twins at the bottom, and Golson keeps it.
Keep it, and he's got the first down and more. Wide open, still on his feet, tripped up near the 38-yard line. A big hole open up in the middle, and Golson ran right through, and here it is again. Well, he's got some speed, too, for a quarterback. Finally, #3, Terry Sparks, tripped him up after a huge gain.
Golson, I think, is going to enter the Olympics in the low hurdles. Tries to go over Sparks.
Back to live action now as a rush up the middle for maybe 1 yard. And the sun is out here in Waxahachie. Storm clouds have moved off, at least far enough away, where I don't think we're going to see any more inclement weather in the near future here at Lumpkin Stadium. So that's good news for all of our fans.
After looking at that replay, I'm not sure Golson is going to qualify as a high hurdler. Got about a foot off the ground. 2nd and 6. We've got twins at the top, twins at the bottom, one back.
It's Hopkins. Golson's going to keep it. Cuts back up field. Wrapped up by Paul Felder, a senior from Long Beach, California. A gain of a couple, bring up 3rd down and 6.
The nice thing on the last drive of the first half, and so far this one, is that the 3rd downs have been manageable. We've been at least picking up some positive yards, which means you get down to a 3rd and 4.
Well,
which means you can run, you can pass. The defense isn't sure what you're going to do.
With Gish's leg, with the wind at our back, we're easily within range should this drive stall here at the 32-yard line. So that's good news. Golson throws to his right, pass complete to Dylan Moore, the junior from Denton, Guyer High School product.
You see what happened on that play? The running back comes up like he's talking to everybody, and then they snapped it. It was that.
I was looking for a flag, like some illegal procedure, but that is a legal move. And
I don't know if that was a planned deception or if Hopkins was just out of the, didn't know what he was doing.
Either way, the pass is complete to Moore.
There's that direct snap to Hopkins again, and he's going to pick up about 4. And they're indicating there's a fumble. The officials haven't said anything yet.
Oh, this would be a huge turnaround if Langston is on that pile.
And
they are going to get possession. In the scrum, the ball comes loose, and Langston falls on top of it. And a huge drive developing, snuffed out in the 3rd turnover of the game, first of the second half, and the wind just went out of the sails on the sidelines for the SAGU Lions.
Earlier this season, it was Troy Griffin who had the fumbleitis. He's at least lost 4. That's his 2nd one this game that Hopkins has coughed up.
Got to protect the ball. Nothing can kill a team's momentum more than an untimely turnover, especially after you're driving the ball with much success. Now here's Wright, rolls out to his right, throws downfield, and nearly picked off by Snyder, had a beat on it.
That ball, if it had been thrown with a little more mustard on it, could have got there, but Snyder came over, almost had a chance to get hand
Pick
on
6,
it.
and he would have gone the distance. I don't think there was anybody going to stop him, but brings up 2nd 10.
Defense looks like they are hungry to keep momentum going their way.
Bouncing outside is Jackson.
Wow, big hit. Dylan Moore at the sideline. If you hear noise on the field, there's a Snyder at work.
Dylan Snyder, yeah, Dylan Snyder, angry perhaps about not getting the pick, takes out his frustration on the ball carrier. And Jackson, watch this hit from Snyder.
Hello, boom. They call him AM/PM. The receiver is awake, and when he leaves, he's asleep. Lights on, lights out.
Trips up top on 3rd and 9, right, quick pass underneath. Receiver still on his feet.
The missed tackle.
Twist forward, yeah, he eludes 2 tackles, Mark.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the 1st down.
Well, if Evers makes the stop, we're getting the ball back. Somebody wanted it a little more.
Yeah, that was Devon Bailey, yards after catch.
That effort allows them to maintain possession, moves the chains. They're at the 35.
Handoff up the middle, and now Wright's going to keep it. Looked like he handed off and pulled it back. Bit of a read option there, and that was snuffed out easily by SAGU.
His athleticism really helped him there. Harry Ford had him in the backfield.
Kendall Evers wrapped him up. Ball, 41-yard line. Handoff, bouncing it outside to the right. Maybe a half a yard is Jackson. He's got one touchdown on the day.
Evers is there, and I think the first one to get to him was Ike Caston, 91, the left end.
A gain of 1.
Yeah, he come in to polish him off. 3rd down, the money play.
3rd and 3. You could pass, you could run. On a yards like this, it is going to be run Jackson again, and he is second effort, almost got it. He's not going to quite get there, but I was going to say in 3rd and 3, it's one of those yardages where you could do a short dump pass or run it, so the defense really is stalemated. And if you're looking at 3rd and 10, it's an obvious passing situation. 3rd and 1, you're probably going to run it, but 3rd and 3, they do elect to run, and Jackson Evers again was able to stop the momentum and hold him up till help could arrive.
Yeah, Evers grabbed a hold of Superman's cape, let go of it, then grabbed his leg, made a wish, and it's
4th and 1.
4th and 1. They're going for
Langston
it.
is going to go for it. Handoff up the middle. They didn't get it. Oh! They didn't get it.
You know what? Last week, Oklahoma Baptist did that, and the whole game changed early in the 3rd quarter.
Well, I may have spoken prematurely. Now, the SAGU defense believes they have it. You see one of the defenders pointing 1st down Lions. It is going to be close.
It doesn't look like he's got it.
It is going to be really close. They may pull out the sticks for this one.
I think he's going to be about a foot short. He had to get to just a shy of the 45.
He didn't get to the 45. He did not get the 1st down. Oh, he's well short.
Evers and Mott. Looks like DJ Johnson. Then over the top was Jeff Howitt.
Yeah, it's gonna be SAGU football.
I'm not sure why, when you've got the lead, you're up 2 touchdowns, why you would gamble like that in your end of the field.
Not even close. 2 footballs.
Yep.
And the Lions will get the ball in good position, a chance to perhaps erase that turnover miscue that they gave Langston a few moments ago as they get the ball back in Langston territory. Short field here, a chance to cut this lead perhaps back to 7.
See Andrew Rickman, one of the assistants down on the sidelines, imploring the troops. The defense just come up with a stop. Offense, what are you going to do now?
As you see, our cameras catching a pretty large rainbow right in front of us, just east of Lumpkin Stadium, arching over the top of our view.
I think it's pointing to that left end zone.
It is pointing right to the end zone. Let's see if they can find that pot of gold at the end of this rainbow. As here's an end around to McKinley. He's got room, pushes through on his feet past the 30, down to the 27-yard line. That's actually an outstanding run from McDonald. Thought it was McKinley. It's the first time we've called McDonald's name all day long. McDonald comes to life here.
Watch the blocks on this end over here.
On the pitch from Golson.
You'll see Goodwin, number 87. Great play, though. Golson could have kept it and picked up some positive yards. Good to see McDonald in the action.
Absolutely. Haven't called his name all day. Great to call it. Golson now looking at 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. 2 receivers up top, 2 down low. Golson's going to go right. He's got a man open.
There's
and a flag interference that's going to give the ball to SAGU around the 1 or 2 yard line. Pass intended for Dylan Moore, but he was mugged. Call the cops.
There was at least 3 flags thrown on that play. Pass interference on the defense. Now in the NFL, well, here's a replay.
There's the push right there, the shove on Terry Sparks. No doubt about it.
Well, one thing the defender didn't do was turn around to take a look at the ball. He was beat. Moore got him up that right sideline. In the NFL, the ball goes right to where the infraction occurred, but in college, it's just a 15-yard penalty. So we're now in the red zone.
So we'll be in the 13-yard line. That's a difference in the rules here. That is correct. So
here's the replay again.
Still in great position, opportunity for SAGU to punch one in here. And what's interesting is Moore still ended up having one hand on that ball.
That would have been a tremendous catch.
It would have been an amazing catch. Now here's McDonald again, cuts forward, and helmet comes off one of the defenders. That was Terry Sparks again, the man who was just called for the flag a moment ago. Have to take his chin strap and readjust it as that play snuffed out. McDonald had nowhere to run. Bring up
Did
second
Langston
10.
have that thing read? They had 4 players in position for it. It was like they had the exact defense called against the exact offense.
Langston sets up in that 4-3 defense. They'll send 4. They've not blitzed much at all. Now linebacker kind of ducks his head in the line, but he'll pull back. Langston will send 4. Golson looking to pass, now in trouble, gets rid of it. Pass complete. An amazing reception and pass from Golson to McDonald. Golson looked like he was about to go down and flipped it forward, and who was waiting for it but Jeremy Golson, has come to life on this drive.
Under duress, off balance.
Here it is again, and right about here, Golson's in trouble, and he just sidearm flips the ball to McDonald, who gets a few extra yards after the catch. That'll bring up 3rd and 7, so all that work for a gain of three, but it was an exciting 3 yards nevertheless.
Well, it saved the possession. Otherwise, we would have been back outside the 20.
Golson looking for a signal from the sideline. And a whistle, and it might be a delay of game called. We'll have to see what the whistle is. Looks like some miscommunication between the sideline and the quarterback to get the next play in, and there'll be a...
I think it was a timeout.
They did call timeout. They were about to get called for a delay of game, so SAGU Lions staff elected to burn a timeout here in a key possession here in the middle of the 3rd quarter, with a chance to cut the lead to a touchdown against a team that we've never beat. 9-0 run the Langston Lions enjoy, and first time we've played here since 2004, so this could be a huge win if SAGU could somehow claw the way out of this 21-0 deficit.
This next play, they've got to make sure that if they don't pick up the first down, that they're not turning it over.
Do not turn the ball over.
At least they can get a field goal.
And you can guarantee right now that Coach Tristan and Godding and all those inside that huddle are telling the running backs and Golson, protect the football at all costs. We've got Gish in our corner. We could at least cut this thing to 11. Back to a 2-score. A manageable 2-score deficit.
Well, the officials are going to have their kicks tied on securely. They're going to be ready for this play.
So, Mark, what do you do here? If you're the head coach, you're Tristan, what do you call if you're offensive coordinator? What kind of call? A fade pattern, perhaps, on the far side of the field? Do you...
That's what they've been doing lately, so I would look for Dylan Moore.
Well, yeah, or do you rush around the outside? You've got all kinds of room on the left side of the field, near the bottom of the field. Golson will look left, and he is hammered. Looking left the whole way, and
well, our offensive
mauled
line
by a gang of Lions from Langston will bring up 4th and 7, and out comes the field goal unit, and one of the best kickers in the NAIA statistically is James Gish. He'll try to punch one through to cut the lead to 11, but you know, a timeout, talk it over, and you come up with a play like that. It's just not what you want to see at all.
They were lined up like they were going to blitz. They sent 6 guys, so they had more guys coming in than we had guys blocking. Big play by Langston. Well called. Now you've got Dustin Fox snapping it back to Chad Deeren. James Gish is going to be trying. What does that look like? 28
yards. It'll be a 38-yarder. Plenty of leg. Does it have the accuracy? It does. It's good. Gish, good from 38 yards, cuts the lead to 11 with 5:55 left in the 3rd quarter. And so the rainbow does point towards the end zone, but they get silver, not gold. We'll take 3.
Well, unfortunately, after the pass to Dillon, we never did look into the end zone for the next 3 plays. The last one we may have, it looked like that play was going to have Dylan Moore running up the sideline and cutting in, and Jeremy McDonald was going around him to the corner, but the blitz took all that away. I don't think Golson had 2 seconds before he was down.
It's very possible that a blocking assignment was missed, perhaps by the tight end or a running back, but either way, you're exactly right. The blitz just overwhelmed Golson a moment after the ball was snapped.
That was Chase Green, by the way, number 7.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest play of the game so far.
So Chad Deeren, a freshman kicker from Garland, Texas, will send the ball towards the Langston receiving core. It'll be Augustine. Will take it back. It's going to sail way over the end zone. And Langston will get the ball back at the 20-yard line. I'm going to pass along a score to you today. The SAGU volleyball team did fall to Southern Nazarene earlier today in straight sets. Lost that match 3 sets to 0. It was a non-conference game, so it won't affect kind of a potential playoff standings. There you see the rainbow again. Our camera's catching a better view this time from the far side of the field. That's the southern end of the field. From our vantage point, where we're calling the game, that rainbow lands right in the end zone, just past the end zone. Back to live action here. Mark Wright will keep it himself. And he drops his head forward for a gain of a couple. Number 50 had perhaps one of the plays of the season earlier a few weeks ago on a pick 6 right here on this field. Playing well this year. And that pass thrown behind the intended receiver, Cordera Frazier. Ball was actually closer to being caught by Shaquem Taylor. Brings up 3rd and 7, so if you can hold here, Mark, get the ball back, you've got the win at your back. Might have halfway decent field position. The punter will be kicking against the wind. Let's see if SAGU can hold right here on 3rd and 7. Pass complete, first down and more. Near midfield.
Not sure who had coverage, but no one was within 5 yards of him.
That's Ryan Hairston, the senior from Fort Worth, Texas. Hauled that one in and ran for another 12, 13 yards. Easy first down.
Yeah, I saw Ethan Eastwood close to him. Yeah, nobody was even, whoever was guarding him blew that assignment.
Now here's Augustine. He's returned a few punts. Takes the end around for a gain of 4.
Shaquem Taylor slow getting up, 21. That last drive, 5 plays, 23 yards. Settled for the field goal. We've scored the last 10 points. We need to get the next score.
Right. Fakes the pass. Likes to keep the ball himself on his feet inside the 35-yard line. Eastwood again on the tackle. From Maypearl, Texas. Right here in Ellis County. Trips up top. 2 receivers. No running backs in the backfield. Wright's all by himself. Got plenty of room. Jump, throws, pass complete.
Wide open again.
That's Devon Bailey.
I think Jeremiah Mott was supposed to be guarding him, but the defense is now showing some signs of tiredness. And Langston is making big plays on offense. They
Watch him jump on his feet here. He jumped to elude a defender who was trying to tackle him near the legs, and Devon Bailey did the rest of the work.
A missed tackle, two missed tackles on that play. Darius Wilburn had him. There's a penalty flag late in the play.
And Eastwood again on the tackle.
Somebody must have said a magic word at the end of the play. No, the official picked up the flag.
Pick it up. We'll pick it up and move on. 3:50 left here in the third quarter. And Langston on the march, looking to push this lead back where it used to be or more. This would be a bit of a damper if you're SAGU, to see you march down the field, get a field goal, cut it to 11, and then to see Langston potentially score right back. Again, goes back to your comment, Mark, about is the defense wearing down at this point? You wouldn't think so. I mean, we're just still in the third quarter, but Langston really
they've been
controlling the ball at this point.
They've been out in the field so long, and the offense turned it over a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
They don't have time to catch their breath.
Yeah. Here's right, spins back, looks right, throws right. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown, Langston, and shaking his head is Kyle Flood. Fell to the ground and wide open. I think you could have caught that ball, Mark.
Maybe.
Touchdown, Langston.
Well, they're making the plays on offense. Flood, I don't know if he just tripped over his own feet when he tried to turn around, but that's twice they've beat us deep in the corner. Well, right after we got the score, I think Langston may have got a big boost after coming up with the stop a while ago, and they came right downfield and made that drive look pretty easy.
Let's see if Flood fell. Look for number 32 on your screen. Let's see if he fell down. Look, you see him enter the frame, and of course the touchdown is easily caught. He made it more acrobatic than it needed to be, but Flood looks like he tripped and fell down based on how wide open the receiver was.
Well, he was down on the field.
That was Cedric Jackson, by the way, with the touchdown reception. That's his second touchdown of the day. 8 plays, 75 yards. Gobbled up 2.5 minutes. And back set to receive the kick will be Trevor McKinley, number 7, number 1, Jeremy McDonald to his left. Let's talk about special teams for a minute, Mark. You know, special teams can sometimes make a big difference. A big run here, at least a good chunk of yardage return would help things out. And, you know, a run back to the end zone would certainly return the favor and give SAGU the momentum back. But you've got to have at least some positive yards here if you're able to get your hands on the ball. You do not want to get stuffed in behind the 20-yard line. A low kick taken, and you better pick it up. You better lay down on it. You better lay down on it. You better kneel it down. I think McDonald may have touched that ball.
He did.
And so he walked away from it.
Which meant it was a live ball. If they had a
well, he's saying I didn't touch it, but it looked like he touched it. And what matters is the refs thought he touched it. Here it is again. Boy, that's hard to tell from our angle. But look at the referee still looking at the football. He didn't whistle a dead ball. That is a live ball anyway. Regardless of whether he touched it or not, a kickoff is a live ball regardless. So a mental mistake from McDonald, and that shouldn't have happened. He should have known better. Thankfully, McKinley was there to grab the ball and take a knee, or else that would have been a ridiculous touchdown for Langston.
That's the difference between a senior and an underclassman. McKinley saved the day. Langston has only scored 32 points all season. They've almost got that
And Golson
in 3 quarters, and Reed took a big pop.
A huge block, though, from Mitchell Grimes. Just got on the train and followed Grimes' shadow for about 10 yards before he was tackled around the 37-yard line. Great blocking up front from the offensive line.
Well, this quarter we have the wind at our back. We've got to take advantage of that once before the period is over.
In 3 minutes it will be. And here's a handoff to Hopkins. A gain of a couple.
A moment ago on that touchdown pass, they missed the extra point, sailed wide of the left upright, so it's 27-10. Lions are 3 scores behind. And most all this is you can pin on the offense.
Trips left, Hopkins, single setback behind Golson. Looks in to get the signs, looks over the defense. Spinning around the outside is...
I think it's Hopkins again.
That's Hopkins again, as the Langston Lions, looks like they sent 5 on the line. Linebacker inched forward there, at least showed a blitz.
We found very little success between the tackles, and he got bottled up, skirted to his left, and was able to pick that yardage up on his own.
See, skimming around the left side is Hopkins. Golson looks right, now downfield, sheds 1 defender. He's going to tuck it and run. All kinds of running room into Langston territory, down to 35-yard line. He's always a threat to run with his knees. Nice move right here, and off he is to the races. Tripped up by Isaiah Ross, or else he would have had a chunk more yardage.
That's the 2nd time that Ross has come up and put a stop on Golson after a big gain.
Direct snap to Hopkins. Goes off the right tackle, gets 4 more yards. And there again, there's that direct snap. We've seen it a couple times earlier in the season. We've seen it twice today. One resulted in a touchdown from Troy Griffin. And that resulted in more positive yards here.
Somebody asked me this week, they go, why did we keep running that play last week in Oklahoma?
It worked.
And I said, until they can stop it, you keep running it.
Trips left, Hopkins in the eye behind Golson. Dylan Moore up top. He wears number 14. 2nd and 7. It's going to be Hopkins up the middle. All kinds of running room. Great block again from that offensive line. This time, that was great block from Mark Hudson, a freshman from San Angelo, Texas, giving Hopkins all kinds of running room.
You had Darius Griffin in there, R.J. Adame, the center. They were the train, and he was following right behind them.
Caboose behind the train, and it's 3rd and 1 now. And a flag, but Golson still on his feet. He's going to get inside the 18-yard line, but a flag thrown right near the line of scrimmage.
Looks like it's offsides on the defense. Paul Selski was shaken up. And coming on the field to replace him, Javier Lopez, number 76. Selski is number 71. Big fella. Here's a replay.
There you see it. And that's going to end the 3rd quarter here at Lumpkin Stadium, and so the players will switch sides. 27-17. That extra point, as Mark said, was missed, so
if you've joined
17-point advantage.
If you've joined us late, Langston took advantage of a couple of SAGU turnovers, went up 14-0 in the 1st quarter, extended it to 21-0. The Lions got a touchdown at the end of the 1st half. Then in the 3rd quarter, had a golden opportunity to pull to within 1 score, and the offense made their 3rd turnover. Ended up getting the ball back moments later and drove in for a field goal, but had several opportunities and only came away with 3 points. Langston, who had been silent for a bit, came back with a drive, so they outscored us in the 1st and 3rd quarters. Not the sign that you're looking for.
Be sure to check all the pictures and videos and statistics and updates for all your athletics on our social media sites. You can like us on Facebook, SAGU Sports Network. Also, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and at the YouTube channel. Of course, you can always check out the archives on SAGU.tv as you see the Reed Golson quarterback stats this season, a comparison of the first 2 games versus these last 2 games. Much improvement, at least in the passing yardage. 4 touchdowns compared to just 2, but he does have 2 picks in the last 2 games. So, 4th quarter, Lions have the ball on the 17-yard line. You got to figure Gish is good from there, but Lions looking for 6.
Yeah, field goal doesn't do us a whole lot of good right now. 1st down. New set of downs. Golson's there calling his cadence, looking to the sideline.
Golson will keep it himself. Looks like there was a bit of a mix-up on who was going to get the ball. Hopkins thought he was going to have it. Golson ripped it back out of his hands, and that ball almost popped out of Golson's possession. Golson, no gain on the play. Now no huddle on the next play. Golson from the shotgun sends 3 right. He'll keep it himself. Looks running room. Up the middle, tripped up down to the 7-yard line.
John Hunter was able to get a hand on his left foot. But it's going to be 3rd. In fact, this looks like 4-down territory. It almost has to be. Lions need to get a touchdown and then have the defense rise up like they have on several occasions today.
Well, a touchdown, a field goal puts you to within 14, so you're still 2 full scores away, so a touchdown is definitely preferred. Golson look for it here in the end zone. Pass.
I think he made the catch.
He made the catch. He did. His feet were in the end zone, but not the ball, as he was sliding away from the ball, sliding with the ball, really.
If that was baseball, he was under the tag.
Yeah, exactly. That was like a tag catch.
He was safe at 2nd.
Watch this. Half his body is in the end zone. By the time he stops moving, they're going to mark the ball about the 1-yard line on a nice diving catch, an unusual dive. Now here's Golson. He's going to go nowhere. And he's wrapped up for a huge loss.
To the beginning.
Langston waiting for that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the Langston guys were after the whistle, pushing him back another 10 yards.
Gonna be about a 5-yard loss on the play. They'll mark it at the 6-yard line. So you're just at the 1-yard line a moment ago, ready to punch it in, and suddenly you're back to a decision whether you should pass or run. 3 receivers up top, the top of your screen. Golson looks right, though. He's got a man, Dylan Moore, who holds it in. Touchdown, SAGU!
Dylan Moore with the gift of grab.
That looked like Montana to Clark, to Dwight Clark on that pass, as the tight end reaches high up over his head and hauls it in. Here it is again. Moore goes way up top, retains possession, touchdown, Southwestern.
He had inside position on Talib Woods.
Extra point is good, and the Lions cut the lead to 10. To 10, 27-17. Well, that catch gets better every time I see it. from that angle looked even better. And look at Moore strutting his stuff as he knows he's just made a huge catch for his teammates. And credit Golson for just hanging in there, waiting for Moore to free himself and deliver the strike right. It's a wobbly throw, but right on cue. No way number 4 is going to catch that ball. Talib Woods is going to be Moore or Moore only. And Moore waits for his boys to come celebrate.
He almost had one earlier
with him.
Over there right by the corner pylon in the first half. Big play. The first guy on the sideline celebrating was number 88, Caleb Shelley. I was told by a couple of the guys this week they were not going to use a lot of tight end formations, so they've specifically gone with 4 wide receivers. I'm not sure if that was because of Langston's defense or because they've had some tight ends injured.
An interesting kick here. And some extracurricular activity, and now flags fly.
Another flag just went.
As the ball was caught to 32, and that's when it all went downhill from there. A short kick, an intentionally short kick. Perhaps trying to keep the ball out of Sheldon Augustine's hands, and at least that worked, but then some extra pushing and shoving, and the refs had to get involved here. We'll see who the guilty parties are. It might end up being an offsetting situation again, Mark.
I think you're right. One of the officials,
yeah, it'll be offsetting,
was talking to Coach Jesse Gotting. Lions over the years have been one of the best teams sportsmanship-wise, and you could see there with that fracas potentially starting, the coaching staff quickly stepped out to separate it. That's where they took exception. He called for a fair catch, and number 13 for Langston comes running in hard to throw a block against the guy standing there.
I don't think he saw that his teammate called for a fair catch. So it's one of those unintentional hits that resulted in some anger flare up on both sides. So the referees sorted it out. And
I don't think there was any harm intended on the Langston side.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the place where the ball was fair caught, the 32-yard line. 12:48 left. Still plenty of time if you're SAGU. It would be an enormous come from behind win if they're able to pull this one out after being down 21-0. They've cut the lead to 10, and what we can say now is they're playing competitive football against a really good football team, and that's a really healthy thing to say at this point.
Well, I'm glad this game isn't over, because if it was at this point, you would be talking about the missed opportunities and turnovers, and we've still got chances here.
And now the SAGU Lions turning to the crowd, asking for a little help. Snyder leading the way, asking the home crowd, those who have not left town for fall break. We mentioned fall break earlier in the broadcast. It is fall break here on the Southwestern campus, so quite a few students have gone home or other places to go visit family and friends, so not a full crowd as we typically have here at Lumpkin Stadium. So Snyder asking those here to help him out. 12th man, right, looks deep, throws deep. Incomplete pass intended for Augustine, and right there is the cover man, Shaquem Taylor.
Chemotherapy is what they call his coverage, and he steps back, got a piece of it, and was able to keep him from making that reception.
Chemotherapy.
Well, that's what they call him. They call him chemo. Shaquem Taylor.
And bring up 2nd and 10. Right, sets a man in motion. Big possession here for SAGU if they can hold him. Positive yardage there down at the 40-yard line. Bring up about a 3rd and 2, maybe 3. See where they spot the ball. Evers in on the tackle.
Kevon Jackson. He's got some good speed, not a lot of size.
So here we go, 3rd and 2. Big play on defense here. Lions have 5 men up front.
Jackson again, and he busted outside.
He's got the first down and more. Ball near the 48-yard line. He finally whistled out of bounds, or ran out of bounds. That's first down, Langston. That's Kevin Jackson. He already has 1 touchdown on the day.
They've moved the change twice on this drive. The clock's still moving, 12 minutes. Plenty of time for SAGU.
Right. Handoff up the middle. Going to be Jamil Hines. He's the freshman, or he's the junior from Phoenix, Arizona.
Horace Williams, 94, in on the stop.
And at this point, I think Langston's content with trying to eat up a few more minutes off the clock. What do you think, Mark? Is it too early to start thinking about, you have a 10-point lead with about 11 minutes left?
I think you're calling that well.
Well, Mark Wright's going to take it himself and had that ball all over the place. A dangerous rush from Mark Wright, but he does wiggle himself free from the Lions defense and near another first down.
Ike Caston was holding on for dear life. You know, Wright didn't even make an attempt to run in the first half. In the second half, he's had several critical plays where he's taken up field.
Here's another run up the middle. It's going to be Hines again.
And another first down. They're at the 40. Rob, the defenses, they've got to come up with a stop. Langston running the ball well the last few plays. They're going to get the Lions in a place where they can set them up for a pass.
And spinning around for another 5 or 6 yards. That's William Taylor.
Langston was the preseason pick by the coaches to win the conference. They've had 7 straight or 8 straight winning regular seasons. Are a perennial power in the Central States Football League, often nationally ranked, often in the NAIA playoffs. There's Wright, he's looking
downfield,
deep.
He's got a man open, pass complete, down to the 15-yard line. Tommy Jones, a tight end, and a big catch there and run. Yards after catch will move the chains, and now Langston threatening, knocking on the door.
I think he got behind Evers. They have hurt us with several passes to the tight end. That was a good catch and run.
Another run up the middle, all kinds of running room near the end zone, and a fumble at the 1.
Oh, yeah, I think he's going to make the right call.
I think they're going to mark it down.
He's down at the 1.
As he neared the 1-yard line, the ball did pop out. They may mark him down at the 1. Take a look. Was his knee?
Yeah, he hit the ground.
He hit the ground, so the ball is dead on contact with the ground. So, first and goal to goal at the 1-yard line.
The ground can't cause a fumble, even though it did, but the officials made the right call there.
Wright's going to pass, and they're going to call a penalty on Trevor McKinley, a pass interference, which will move the ball about 6 inches. So, not a big penalty there.
Well, see, Trevor never turned around.
Yeah,
he kept his face on the receiver.
It does give them another first down though, but that is 1 inch closer to the end zone.
It was a good call. but you'd rather have your cornerback stay on the man and prevent the completion and the score, even though it gives them an extra play.
Mark Wright is a freshman from Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana, playing real well as a freshman this year.
Well, he has a senior
Langston.
quarterback behind him, and he's kept him on the bench. Been impressed by Wright today. If they get a score here, that will be more than they've scored all season, and he's in.
And he's in for a touchdown. Mark Wright, his second rushing score of the day. He's thrown for a couple, rushed for a couple. Touchdown, Langston.
Well, there's not a whole lot. The margin between winning and losing can be so small that you cannot minimize the impact of blown opportunities and turnovers.
Turnovers are going to be the story of this game. When
you
we look
watch
back.
a team like Langston that really didn't have much offense coming into today, but you give them 3 turnovers, and they have made, if my memory's correct, none.
And the extra point is good. And it's your score now is 34-17. They've doubled up. SAGU with 8:49 left in the fourth quarter. Let's take you down now to the field where Tyler Evans is standing by. Tyler.
Thanks, guys. Here I am with SAGU student Randy Bauk. Now, Randy, you're appearing in the upcoming play, The Trip to Bountiful, at SAGU. Why don't you tell us why a student would want to see it?
Well, The Trip to Bountiful is showing Thursday through Sunday, the 17th through the 20th, and definitely every student at SAGU will want to come see it because it's a really inspiring and challenging story following the life of a woman named Carrie Watts as she attempts to escape from her home with her son and daughter-in-law. Her daughter-in-law is me, everybody, and just trying to get back to Bountiful, the whole time hometown she still loves. And it's a very challenging story that really it's very life-touching, and it helps people want to just cherish those who are in their lives. So yeah.
Now, when is the play and how can a student get tickets?
The play is Thursday through Sunday, the 17th through the 20th, and tickets are free, but they are required, and they will be just outside chapel all day, not all day, outside chapel before and after chapel, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I think Friday too, if I'm not mistaken about that. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Randy, and enjoy the rest of the game. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Randy. Be sure you check out that play coming up pretty shortly here at that SAGU Theater. Trip to Bountiful as the ball is, that's his live ball again. It's going to run out of bounds, thankfully. McKinley had a hard time catching that one. And Lions will get the ball at the 20-yard line. SAGU Lions.
I think he forgot that the wind is at the back of the kicker, and he put a lot of foot into that. Well, Langston has found their offense today.
Put up 34 points. A couple of short fields really help things, and that just kind of get them going. And SAGU unable to come back from that early 21-0 deficit, now down 17, so they've technically outplayed them since those first 21 points early on, but not where near good enough to fight back to challenge for the lead. And now you're in desperation mode. You need 3 quick scores in a hurry, perhaps some onside kicks, and you start talking about a lot of scenarios that don't typically happen for a team to come from behind this far down when your offense isn't clicking that well to begin with.
There's been a lot of optimism around SAGU football this year. Of the 11 games that were on the schedule, 9 of them were against teams with a losing record, and the only teams that had winning record was Langston and Bacone, and both of them were coming here this year. Well, it hasn't gone quite the way we had hoped, but we've still got half the season left, Rob.
Golson back to pass inside the 20, looks right, incomplete. Moore asking for a flag, didn't get one. Got to bring up 3rd and 9. Clock, I'm not sure why the clock is running, but the clock is running off an incomplete pass. Did they change the rules of football, Mark? What am I?
No, the
what am I
clock's
missing?
supposed to be dead, and no one has caught it. About 15 seconds you've lost.
Yeah. Reed back to pass, up the middle, tipped. Was a defender in the vicinity.
I think he was trying to set the screen up to Troy Griffin. That was a bad series.
That was a series that says we're down 17. They just scored on us, and
we're done.
We don't think we can win this game anymore. So,
well, that pass play was a screen, and we let the people go through. He missed Griffin, and on the previous play, he was throwing either for Dylan Moore or Josh Goodwin, and he threw between the two. I'm not sure what happened there.
Just the body language, some of the execution, not as sharp as we've seen earlier in the game. And now you're looking at some special teams miracles. You need some turnovers yourself. You need some help here if you have any chance at all to get back in this game. The Langston Lions will be content just to run this clock down now, Mark.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened on the punt return. The guy did not call for a fair catch. He had people standing around him, and they let him catch it and then run forward for 5 or 6 yards. In this series, which goes back to the year 2000, there has been 6 games played in Langston. There's been a couple of others in Oklahoma. The first meeting was played in Ardmore back in 2000. The second meeting was in Lawton in 2003. There's only been twice until today that the games were played here in Waxahachie.
So if things don't change, Langston will pick up their first win of the season, and they'll be glad to have it after 4 tough losses. They'll improve to 1-4 in the season, and they'll be in first place just like that in the Central States Football League.
And most importantly for them is the 1-0 mark in the CSFL.
Right, right.
With 6 teams in the league, whoever wins the league gets an automatic berth in the postseason. That's what they're shooting for. And the regular season ends with them facing Bacone College.
That matchup will likely decide the winner of the CSFL based on the early prognosticators of the CFSL League. And here's a run up forward, and more time's gonna go off the clock. That's Jace Boyd. He had a touchdown earlier in the day.
And the Lions defense just looks tired. On that play, only one guy was on the ground when the play was over. Langston is going to be content to just run it and let the clock go.
And there's going to be a whistle, a flag on number 50 for Langston. That is Charles Granger going to be called for moving.
Next week, the Lions are going to be about 90 miles north of here. We're going to be in Sherman, Texas, right on the border, against Austin College. We'll provide audio. We've had some technical difficulties last week in Oklahoma, but the audio portion is set to go at 12:50 next Saturday. Tune in and at least listen to the Lions.
And Wright just continues to eat up more clock and more yards. And he's going to probably move the chains. Yeah, they're going to move the chains again as he dive forward past the first down marker.
When we're talking about top players in the game, you've got to mention Wright for his runs, and his arm has looked very good. He's had the upper hand in the quarterbacks duo today.
The freshman outplaying the senior at the quarterback position today as Wright will take it from the shotgun, handoff up the middle. Now moves around the outside. That's yet another running back. Now that's number 26, and folks, I wish we could pass along a name, but we don't see number 26 in our program, so it's possible his name was listed as another jersey number. So, but it's been running back by committee anyway, so, you know, put some pads on you, let you get out there and take a stab at it. Been quite a few running backs get the ball today for Langston. And that one's going to go nowhere in a hurry. Stopped by, is that DJ? It is, number 99, DJ Johnson.
He hasn't given up.
From Detroit, Michigan, the senior, 300-pounder. Can move quick on his feet.
Motor City Mayhem is what he causes. But he spent his high school days in Springfield, Missouri at Parkview High School. Well, it's 3rd down. Clock, though, has ran all the way down to almost 4 minutes.
Right. All kinds of time. Scrambles right, throws right. He's got a man, and it's Augustine. He's got it inside the 30, dragged out of bounds around the 29-yard line.
I think he was being covered by Howarth.
Augustine's had a good game.
He's quick, very quick, good hands. They have made big plays all day on their offense. At the half, they had 271 yards, doubling the Lions, who had 140. And they've looked impressive today.
Under 4 minutes. Right. Will be content to hand it off up the middle. And it's Robertson on the run.
Well, if the defense doesn't come up with a stop right here, Langston is going to add the coup de grace to the end of this match. They just put Zach Jackson back in on the line. They're picking up yards in chunks right now. That's the effect of having an offense that spends very little time on the field.
Lions will send 5. They run away from the blitz, the cornerback blitz, and they ran away from it. And the near side to bring up 2nd down, 7. That's Kevin Jackson on the carry.
I know the team was really pumped about this game, wanted to get off to a good start. That was the whole energy and impetus behind their preparation. Come out with the 2 quick turnovers. They shot themselves in the foot. Took a lot of starch out of their attack.
And another run up the middle. That's William Taylor, a senior from Chicago.
I think the Lions' defense, until they've been worn down, has actually given the kind of effort that you would need to win. They've just been on the field too long.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see the time of possession in the second half, Mark. I know it was about a minute difference in the first half, but decidedly in the Langston Lions' favor here in the last couple of quarters, as they are just content with the lead, just to sit on the ball, run the ball, and they're getting first downs, moving the chains, and it just takes what little hope you have left if you're wearing a purple jersey to pretty much nothing left, as 2:39 left in the clock, and this one all but in the books. SAGU will drop to 2-3 on the season. Our next broadcast will be October 18th, 5 p.m. Central Time, here on the SAGU Sports Network. Then you see in the 22nd, 6 p.m., Oklahoma Baptist Bison will be facing our Lions. And then on 24th, John Brown Golden Eagles soccer match, 2 and 4, ladies at 2, the men at 4 p.m. right here on SAGU.TV. And then the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies will be in town against the Lions October 26th at the 2 p.m. kickoff.
That's homecoming. The OPSU team is NCAA Division II. We defeated them last year at their home, 28-27 in overtime. Our first win ever over a D2 team.
Right. Hands it off to Hines, Jamil Hines.
That's another first down. Well, what was a more competitive game when we had pulled to within 27-17, that made all the more glaring the missed opportunity there in the third quarter where we had a chance to score, had our best drive of the day, and then we coughed it up. And Langston has taken full advantage of those.
Three costly turnovers resulted in, I believe it was 21 points, perhaps 17. I think it was 3 touchdowns. And that's the difference in the ball game. If you're looking for a definitive difference, it's the turnovers. I mean, that's just plain and simple. Other than that, it was a push. This has been a push.
Dandy Don Meredith once said back in the day, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. So when you get to these...
Did he come up with that, or he just repeat that?
He probably, you never know. He's not going to tell you. Well, he's no longer breathing, so that's why he's not going to tell you. But when you get to these parts of games, when you start talking about the ifs and the buts, and if we had all those particular things, they end up becoming very large. And right now we've got 14 turnovers through 5 games. Last year we lost 9 fumbles for the entire season. 10 games, 9 fumbles. We've already lost 11 fumbles this year through half a season.
14 turnovers in 5 games. You're talking just under 5 turnovers a game. That averages out to more than 1 turnover a quarter. Did I get that right? Did I get my math right, or am I wrong?
No, it's not good.
Either way, it's not a good result.
I'm not sure of the math, but I know 14 in 5 games is not what you're looking for.
Not what you're looking for at all. We're under 2 minutes to play here at Lumpkins, and Langston will have a enjoyable bus ride back up I-35 back to Langston. So at least one Oklahoma team will win on this Red River weekend. Earlier today at the Cotton Bowl, the UT Longhorns enjoyed a 16-point win over Oklahoma Sooners. But here it's the Oklahoma team will come away with the win. And there's a flag and stop for no gain. It was Kendrick Robertson, but a flag was thrown. It's going to be holding against Langston. That'll push the ball back.
Under normal circumstances, you might think they would just take 3 knees and run it all the way down. But they're 0-4, and they're taking no prisoners. And wouldn't surprise me to see them throw in the end zone.
Well, I mentioned that earlier. When you're 0-4, you're just hungry for a win and points and just positive plays, and you need scores and players to feel good about themselves. So why not? Why not respect the game of football and make the defense stop you for the next minute 47 with 15 yards to go? I mean, at some point you're still playing a competitive game, so until the whistle blows, the final whistle sounds, you keep playing football. So right. I don't expect them to take a knee at all, and they shouldn't take a knee.
Dwan Sanders and his staff have done a great job keeping their guys focused through this entire season. It'd be easy for them to tank when you're 0-4 and you're really struggling, but they've done a good job.
In fact, there's no running backs in the backfield. He's going to throw, and is it caught?
No.
It was. If it was, it was caught out of bounds, and the ball does whistle free. So incomplete pass. Now, this is what you don't want to see if you're a Langston Lions fan, and that is Sheldon Augustine not getting up. Look at it. Oh my gosh, his right knee. His right knee just turned the wrong way, and he is down.
You can see the
his
training
right knee
staff.
just buckled right as he spun around and jumped up in the air, and his right knee just turned right there. Really an odd angle, and
you can see Steve Patterson, the photographer,
right
on top of the play.
That is not
the
going to be good.
medical staff down there, training staff, it looks like, for both teams. You can see Jeroy Carpenter there, and the man in white, Stuart Dunn, the new head trainer.
And look at your stats today. 488 yards total to this point for Langston, just 278 for SAGU. Rushing yards a bit closer, only about a 40-yard advantage. Passing yards, huge advantage there. And now that's interesting, the time of possession. I'm baffled by that, how SAGU has a 3-minute advantage, Mark, in time of possession. 0 sacks, 0 interceptions for the defense today.
Well, we really haven't thrown the ball much, so we've ran the ball, and that's probably why we've got the advantage in time of possession. But I don't think we forced any turnovers. Langston, I believe, has more rushing yards today than they did in their first 4 games combined.
And this is something you don't want to see. We mentioned a moment ago about, keep punching the ball, keep rushing the ball, try to score. But with the game out of reach, I don't care if you're a SAGU fan or a Langston fan, you hate to see one of the top players for any team succumb to an injury like this on really was an unnecessary touchdown. Although you like to score, this is not necessary to win this ball game, and yet he's out there giving it his best, and our best hopes and prayers for his speedy recovery. And there you stay connected to all of the information, sights and sounds and pictures on our social media sites, Facebook, SAGU Sports Network, Twitter feed, SAGU Sports Net, Instagram, SAGU Sports Network, and a YouTube channel, SAGU Sports Network as well. Catch all the information there.
Right now on the Facebook site, they have a set of replays of the top volleyball kills of the week, the top 5. Just a few weeks ago, they had the top 5 plays of all the teams in the month of September. The SAGU Sports Net is the Twitter account in which we send scoring updates and news. And even this morning on the Facebook site, there was a photo of the volleyball match last night in which SAGU swept Southwestern Christian in 3. And on the YouTube site, you can see a number of the interviews that are done during the broadcast. Some of you might miss, you can turn there. You can also see plenty of highlight packages. If you have not tuned into the Facebook site, SAGU Sports Network, do so and make sure you like it. It's only been up a couple of months.
That is a very good sign to see if you're especially a Langston fan. Sheldon Augustine walking off the field under his own power on what appeared to be a highly unusual angle where his the whole bottom right side of his leg was twisted.
He's holding his left arm. I wonder if when his body came down, he landed on top of the ball. He might have been bruised up on a couple of points.
Places. I hope he's back in action next week for sure, as they will have their first home game of the season.
Next week we go up to play Austin College,
right.
NCAA Division III.
Right.
Last year we had them what we thought was defeated. We stopped them on downs with a couple of minutes left in the game. We're up by a point. On the very next play, we fumbled. They got the ball back, scored, and won. They'd like to get revenge up at their place.
Yeah. Second 15 here with 1:15 left. Right, back to pass, fires one up the middle, and a flag.
2 flags.
It's going to be on Shaquem Taylor. He's going to be whistled for pass interference.
I think the ball was uncatchable, but he's got all of that. Looks like he's looking around for a contact.
Pass intended for Bruce Thompson.
See what the official was saying. Was that a catchable ball? They said it was.
That'll put the ball around the 2-yard line.
I have to say today that the officiating crew has done a good job.
And Taylor, number 21, will walk off the field with his helmet off. He might be done for the day.
I think he lost his contact.
And now all the life has just left this stadium. Everyone just wants this game to end. Langston wants to get on the bus and go home, and
Well, they're certainly
SAGU's not going to win this game at all, so it's just one of these final minutes of play where let's just get it over with before anything else silly happens.
I don't think Langston is worrying about tacking on a needless touchdown, that it's going to inspire the Lions. This will make 10 straight wins over SAGU. And they're definitely trying to pile it on now.
And they do pile on another touchdown. It's number 28 for Langston.
On the previous play, one play after having a receiver injured, they went right back. They are trying to add the score up. And
again, we don't have a name for you for number 28.
Yeah, that was not sent with their information package. Here's a touchdown.
Huge
he
hole
went
up the
in.
middle. He wasn't even touched until he was in the end zone. And that'll push the score.
24 points in 1 minute.
That'll make it up to 40.
Hitting the extra point, it'll be 41-17.
Yep.
The extra point is good. 1:06 left.
Well, you know, they haven't been here in 9 years. After watching the way we played here today, I hope I don't see them again for 9 years.
They may want to come back next year. Again, this Langston team, I think they kind of front-loaded their schedule to play tough teams to prepare them to excel at the next level when they entered the CSFL league play. And they're showing every sign of being the dominant team in the CSFL for the remainder of the season.
And there's been talk late that their program may want to move to FBS level of college ball. That's why they play some of those teams. Plus, if they lose, it prepares them for potentially playing those kind of teams.
As you see, our band and now our cheerleaders still enjoying the afternoon, trying to make the best of the time we have together here in fall break weekend. Homecoming just around the corner. Our next broadcast will be in 2 weeks. Our next football broadcast in 2 weeks on homecoming weekend.
Speaking of a date coming up, October the 24th, Midnight Madness.
Oh my, tell us about that.
Oh man, it starts at 11:30. We've got
and
the
this child
cheerleaders.
is excited
look at this.
about Midnight Madness. She cannot wait. Keep talking.
Exactly.
She knows about it.
We introduced the cheerleading team as well as the Lady Lions and Lions basketball teams.
And McKinley fumbled that ball going out of bounds. The ball did land out of bounds, so Lions will maintain possession. SAGU Lions will maintain possession. That young lady was excited.
That's always a high energy night. The cheerleaders come out with several big sketches that they do. There's a dunk event, a three-point shootout. Last year, one of the Lady Lions actually defeated the Lion in the final. And of course, the mascot, Judah the Lion, is on full display. That's a big night. It's a Thursday night at 11:30. And the doors open at 11:30 and the festivities start at 11:45, goes for about an hour. Check the SAGU website tonight and this weekend for a full write-up of all things SAGU Athletics.
Threading the needle is Golson. That pass is complete.
Dylan Moore, he tried to hook and ladder handoff to 23, Chris Bigham, but there was a flag which may negate that gain.
This is the longest 3 minutes in college football history. This game just will not end. It's over.
You know, 3 minutes ago you didn't need a haircut. You might need one now. There was a penalty against Langston, so that'll move the chains.
Well, at this point, tempers might flare, and it's just not worth it. That's an unnecessary penalty. You've got the game in hand. You're up by 20, 24 points. Here's a handoff up the middle.
That's Chris Bigham. I'm waiting for him to make a great play so we can mispronounce his name and say Big Ham.
I'm not going to say it. You say it. I'll give it to you. He's all yours. Golson looks back to pass, and he's going to be dropped for a loss and a fumble again.
I'm not sure why he stepped forward. He stepped right into the oncoming rushers.
He sure did, and the ball came loose. I think they're going to maintain possession.
That may be the last play as well.
As time continues to run, now just 10 seconds left, and SAGU may be content just to end it here, although Reed Golson is lining up and may want to get one more snap off, just 2 seconds. They will get one more play off. Perhaps a Hail Mary. Still free, and he's going to be sacked. And that last play pretty much epitomizes the entire game. Just
they had three
on the run the whole day, Mark.
They had 3 people rushing, and they still got a sack.
Right. Well, that's your final score here, 41-17. Langston picks up their first win of the season. They'll improve to 1-4 and 1-0 in the CSFL. Lions will drop to 1-1 in the CFSFL, and 2-3 overall as both teams exchange handshakes and goodwill at near midfield. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with some post-game thoughts and analysis. You're watching SAGU Sports Live on the SAGU Sports Network. Well, that'll just about wrap things up here from Lumpkin Stadium. I want to thank all of our viewers watching up in Oklahoma as your Langston Lions get their first win of the season, a healthy win, 41-17, the final score. And Mark, final thoughts on where the team should go from here. We're now in the middle of CFSFL play, and not out of it at 1-1 by no stretch of the imagination, but what do you see things as we look ahead at the upcoming schedule?
Well, we've got a rebound next week. Austin College is a non-conference game. In fact, tune into the audio next week. We'll bring it all to you live starting at 12:50. Just go to SAGU TV and click on that for a live event. But we've got Oklahoma Panhandle State, which will be a good challenge. And then there's a few other winnable games that are here. At Wayland and ex-Texas College could be, if we were to pick up those, and we're looking at a third straight 4-6 season. Hardly what the team was hoping for, but until we stop turning the ball over, you can't beat anybody. All you have to do is look at the New York Giants and see that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You make turnovers, and even though you've got talent, you're going nowhere fast, and we have been turning it over on fumbles. So until we can stop that or order a case of Velcro, we're going to have a problem with keeping the fumbles down. But so far the team has hung in there through these struggles, and there's nobody I'd rather see leading the Lions through this season than Jesse Godding and his staff. I think they do a great job of circling the wagons, and I think you'll see a strong effort next week against a team that they've got as good a chance of beating as anyone. I do want to say this, thank you to Daniel Garrett, the Sports Information Director at Langston, for helping us with a lot of information on their team, some insights. We had thought, or we're going to try to interview their new athletic director, his dad, Mike Garrett, but we weren't able to get that in today. But we appreciate the relationship we have with that school and their fans. They're just great, and look forward to seeing them in other athletic settings.
Of course, Mike Garrett, a former Heisman Trophy winner at USC, so best of luck to Langston Lions as they continue their season. And our next actual broadcast on the SAGU Sports Network you see in your screen will be volleyball. The St. Gregory Cavaliers in town in Waxahachie, the Schaefer Center, as the Lions will host them. And then you see the Oklahoma Baptist Bison will come in right after them on the 22nd. Again, listen to Mark Ward's call next Saturday, October 19th, 1 p.m. And finally, another soccer game coming up, a doubleheader, ladies at 2, men at 4. John Brown Golden Eagles in town, and then the OPSU Aggies, October 26th. Homecoming weekend, 2 p.m. kickoff. Well, for my partner Mark Ward and our entire SAGU Sports Network crew, our executive producer John Cook, we want to say thank you for watching this broadcast of the SAGU Sports Live programming. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you and give you his peace.